This is how I would land a high-paying job without experience in 31 days if I could start all over. I'm a tech sales professional making $55,000 a year base salary plus another $20,000 commission. Now I've gone from making $25,000 as a real estate agent to $50,000 in digital marketing to now $75,000 in remote tech sales. My route to breaking into tech sales was a little weird, but in order to figure out what I would have done differently, let's go back to figure out how I got here in the first place. So I got introduced to tech sales through YouTube videos, specifically from career content creators like Shane Hummus and Cyrus from Tech is the New Black, and other creators who talked about the earning potential and remote work opportunities. So why I wanted to do tech sales was really simple. I was tired of being compensated just to show up instead of compensated for my effort and results. In my previous career, even when I worked longer hours and got better results for clients, it did not reflect on my paycheck. And I did not like that. How I got started in tech sales was pretty scattered. I watched random YouTube videos, tried to figure out what tech sales actually was, and eventually stumbled onto CourseCareers through recommendations. I completed their course in just 2 weeks while I was still on maternity leave taking care of my toddler. What I do now is work as a sales development representative for a tech company. And my work is pretty simple. I work completely remote. I research prospects, send cold emails, make prospecting calls, and book meetings for account executives. I work from about 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. depending on how I decide to structure my day. I have the peace of mind of having my own apartment and now being able to contribute financially to my household in a way that I could never before. If you're looking to break into high-paying remote work and you want to do it in the next month, instead of spending years trying to figure it out like most people do, I would actually start by learning the foundations. You need to understand that tech sales is completely different from traditional sales. Traditional sales is usually commission only, unpredictable income, and often requires you to drive around meeting people in person. And I know this firsthand because this is actually what I did as a real estate agent for years. And you guys would know if you've been following my channel for some time now. But tech sales gives you a base salary, benefits, stock options, predictable hours, and you're working remotely. You're selling software solutions to businesses instead of trying to convince individuals to buy products that they might not even need. You'll need to understand how businesses actually operate and make purchasing decisions. What problems do businesses face, how they evaluate their buying decisions, and how their decision-making processes work. This isn't about memorizing business terms. This is about thinking like a business owner, which is really nice because it still gives me that ability to feel like an entrepreneur within a company. And you'll also learn the actual methodology of how sales works, which means prospecting, qualifying, presenting, handling objections, and closing. You'll understand what an ideal customer profile is, what a buyer persona looks like, and how to research companies effectively. You'll also learn to master the technology stack that sales professionals use daily. CRM systems like Salesforce or HubSpot, prospecting tools like LinkedIn Sales Navigator, email automation, and sales enablement platforms like SalesLoft, and video conferencing tools like Zoom. You need to sound competent and confident when talking about these tools. Most people go about learning the foundations completely wrong, but there's a much better way to approach it. The problem with trying to learn sales in college or through traditional business programs is that they teach you theory without any practical application. You learn about marketing funnels and customer psychology, but you never actually pick up the phone and call a prospect. Most business degrees take 4 years and cost $60,000 to $80,000, but they don't teach you the specific skills that tech companies want to see. You graduate knowing about economics and management theory, but you've never written a cold email or handled a single real objection. See, I'm talking about this through experience. I graduated with a business degree in 2015, but I had no idea how to sell anything. College taught me theoretical concepts, but when I got into real estate and digital marketing, I had to learn the practical skills on the job through trial and error. And that's why I decided to go through CourseCareers when I wanted to break into tech sales. They focus specifically on the practical skills that employers want, not theoretical knowledge that sounds good on paper. CourseCareers was straight to the point and took out all the guesswork. I didn't have to spend months or years learning any theory. I learned exactly how to perform the job that I was looking to get. I went through the tech sales course and it taught me everything from understanding organizational structures to mastering cold outreach to crushing interviews. But most importantly, it connected me with a community of graduates who are already working in the field. CourseCareers has a free introduction course where you can learn exactly how to land your first job in tech sales with no degree or no experience. And I'll include the link to that in the description down below. Companies are desperately hiring for tech sales roles, but they need people who can be productive quickly. They don't have time to train you on basic business concepts or teach you how to use a CRM software. They want someone who can start contributing to revenue immediately. Just look at Christian, for example. He was a chess teacher staring at a $350 paycheck. 6 weeks after going through CourseCareers, he landed a remote account executive role at Yelp. That's the kind of transformation that's possible when you have the right skills and the right approach. And when you understand business fundamentals, the sales process, and the tools, you can speak their language in interviews. You can demonstrate that you won't need 6 months of training to become effective. And that's what companies like to see. Once you have the basics down of how to sell, you're ready to start creating your own portfolio. And I'll tell you about a portfolio approach that can actually help you get multiple job offers. Instead of just learning theory, create actual prospecting sequences that you can use in a real job. Pick 3 companies in different industries, maybe a software startup, a mid-market SaaS company, and an enterprise tech firm. Research 3 prospects at each company, find their names, titles, and contact information. Write personalized cold emails for each prospect at one company, and create LinkedIn outreach messages and develop calling scripts. And you can easily do all this by using the templates that are in the course. This way you can walk your interviewers through the entire thought process, how you identify prospects, why you chose specific messaging, and how you handle common objections. And this proves you can actually think strategically about sales and not just follow scripts. And as you research prospects and companies, you'll start understanding different business models. You'll begin to learn how SaaS companies make money, what challenges different industries face, and how software solutions can actually help these businesses. This knowledge becomes incredibly valuable in interviews because when they ask you, why do you want to work in tech sales, you can give them specific examples of problems you've identified and solutions that you understand. Look at successful salespeople on LinkedIn profiles. What do their outreach messages look like? How do they structure their content? What type of language do they use when they're talking about their results? These are the type of things that you want to pay attention to that will get you a leg up on the competition. You should also join communities on Discord, LinkedIn groups, and Reddit and read what top performers are sharing about their strategies, follow sales leaders, and see what techniques they recommend. But don't just copy. You have to understand the principles behind what works. Why does a certain email template get responses? What makes one LinkedIn message more effective than another? Companies can tell the difference between someone who memorized sales terminology and someone who actually understands how to execute. So your portfolio should prove that you can do the job and not just talk about it. And when you show up to the interviews with specific examples of campaigns you've built, prospects you've researched, and results that you've tracked, you immediately stand out from the candidates who have only theoretical knowledge. When you're starting to build your network in the next few weeks, there are a couple things that I would have wished I would have known when doing this that would have made my job search so much faster. See, most people try to figure out job searching alone, but the fastest way to get hired is by connecting with people who are already doing the job that you want. And I'm never too proud to ask for help, so once I started reaching out to people, everything changed. Now the secret is that most people in tech sales are actually happy to help newcomers because they remember what it was like to break into the field, especially if you approach them respectfully and specifically. And this is exactly where the CourseCareers community becomes invaluable. I literally connected with every graduate who landed a job at companies that I wanted to work for. These weren't cold connections. We had a shared experience and common ground. So I would reach out to them with messages like, hi, John, I'm also a CourseCareers graduate and I saw you're working at this company. I'm really interested in their sales development program. Could I ask you a few questions about your experience there? Most people responded positively and were willing to share insights about their company culture, interview process, and what they looked for in candidates. And here's what most people don't do. They apply online and then they just wait. They sit back and wait. But I learned that you have to treat every application like the beginning of a sales process, not the end. So after submitting an application, I would find someone at the company, either another SDR or a sales manager or someone in a related world. I'd send them a LinkedIn message saying, hi, I just applied for the SDR role at your company and I'm really excited about the opportunity. I'd love to learn more about what makes someone successful in this role at your company. Would you be open to a brief conversation today or tomorrow? Yep, I was bold with my ask and it worked like a charm. This approach got me inside information about what they were looking for and often led to them mentioning me to the hiring team. So don't just rely on your application to get noticed in their system. You have to find the recruiter or hiring manager on LinkedIn and send them a direct message. And I kept my messaging very simple for each way that I reached out. I would say something similar to, hi, I just applied for the SDR position and I wanted to personally introduce myself. And I noticed that X company just went through a recent expansion and I'm excited about the opportunity to contribute to your company's growth. I'd love to discuss how my background could add value to your team. Do you have 15 minutes to chat today? See how I connected a relevant event to what their company is actually doing and what's going on in their company? It always caught their attention. And I always attached my resume and mentioned something specific about their company to show that I've done the research. So if you're interested in learning more about how to do this outreach, to get inside these companies, CourseCareers teaches you step by step how to do this and even gives you the exact same templates that I use. So I'm not here making anything up under the sun. This is already in the course that they provided to us and I just applied the information that I was provided. They don't just teach you sales skills, they teach you how to sell yourself during the job search process. The same principles that work for selling software work for selling yourself as a candidate. The key with all of this networking is to approach it with genuine curiosity about the role and the company, not just to pitch yourself for jobs. Build relationships first and opportunities second. So if I were starting over, I'd spend the first week going through CourseCareers' free intro course and the full tech sales program. This gives you the fundamental knowledge and connects you to their graduate network immediately. Week 2 would be building my sales portfolio. I'd pick 3 target companies, research prospects, create outreach campaigns, and document everything in a free CRM system. And this essentially becomes your proof of ability that you can do the job. You can also use hunter.co. It's free and the course shows you exactly how to use it throughout your entire interview process. Week 3 is when I start networking aggressively. Connect with CourseCareers graduates, reach out to people at target companies, and start building relationships. And at the same time, this is also when I'd be applying to open positions. Now, week 4 would be interview preparation and execution. I practice role plays, refine my pitch, and start converting conversations into job offers. By this point, you should have multiple interviews scheduled. What I learned is that companies are hiring for these roles right now, and they need people who can start producing results quickly. This is exactly why I was able to receive a job offer from my current company and had the ability to start within a few days later. If you can demonstrate competence and enthusiasm, they'll take a chance on someone without traditional experience. This compressed timeline works because you're learning exactly what employers want, building proof of your abilities, and using strategic networking instead of hoping your resume gets noticed online. Most people spend months randomly applying to jobs and wondering why they're not getting callbacks, but this approach gets you in front of decision makers within weeks. And that's exactly how I would land a high-paying remote job if I could start over. Foundations, portfolio, networking, all executed strategically within 1 month. So the link to the CourseCareers free course is in the description down below. Start there today and see if tech sales feels like the right path for your goals. And make sure you subscribe for more content about building a 6-figure remote career. Hit the like button if this was helpful and drop a comment telling me what's holding you back from making a career change. And if you like this video, then check out this video here where I'm breaking down my very first paycheck in tech sales. I'll see you on the next video.